we start with more chaos for the Democratic Party. The Democratic National Committee reportedly considering removing its newly elected Vice Chair David Hogg after receiving complaints surrounding diversity, equity, and inclusion. A candidate who lost the vice chair race to Hogg claims the election was discriminatory toward women of color. Semaphore is reporting that the DNC could vote to oust David Hogg. We'll hear a challenge next month by a Native American DNC member who lost the vice chair race and wants a new election, citing fairness and gender diversity rules. Since the election, Democrats have been struggling to find unity and leadership within their own party ranks, while Republicans have largely rallied around Trump in his first 100 days. Now both parties are looking to the future and to the midterms. And joining us now to discuss is Chairman of the Republican National Committee, Michael Whatley. Good morning to you, sir. Thanks for joining us this morning.
It's great to be on with you.
First, highlight what the GOP sees as wins for Trump's first 100 days and what challenges still remain.
Yeah, promises made, promises kept. The president said that he was going to work on rebuilding our economy, restoring our southern border, and keeping our kids and our communities safe. That's what he has done all day, every day. You can look at the executive orders, look at the people that he's put into the cabinet, look at the staff that he's hired at the White House. Every single action has been focused on keeping those promises to the American people. We're bringing down gasoline and grocery and housing prices. We have actually restored the southern border. Right now, we have ended the illegal alien invasion that has come across, as well as stopped the flow of fentanyl. Every single day, we are seeing progress made on every front by the president.
You know, after Trump's speech, some Democrats came out blasting not just Trump, but GOP lawmakers. One of them, Senator Dick Durbin, he's not running for re-election, but I want to read what he said. He said, quote, "Never in our nation's history has a co-equal branch of government so willfully rolled over and ceded their power. It is silence of the lambs." What do you make of this? I mean, isn't that what Democrats did during the Biden administration?
That's exactly what they did. The fact is that we are in a hole as a nation, and we are trying to get out of that hole. You know, Joe Biden left us with an absolutely ravaged economy. He left us with a wide open border and 15 to 20 million illegal aliens here in the United States that we need to address and we need to deal with. He left us in a very weakened state all across the world stage with wars in the Middle East and in Ukraine. It is going to take a while for us to get out. But the first 100 days of President Trump's tenure have been very, very promising in terms of the progress we've seen on every front.
You know, Biden also left this big divide within the Democratic Party that seems to be growing wider, especially with DNC Vice Chair David Hogg. We just did that story there. Now, the most progressive Democrats are claiming discrimination and want him out, and he's progressive, challenging the old guard. Let's even listen to what he said recently.
We're also going to be spending it on frontline seats where great young people are running, right, if they are the Democratic nominee, to make sure we're bringing in fresh faces to Congress. Right now, we talk about diversity all the time in Congress. One of the things we don't talk about as much in regard to that is age. Currently, if we had the same number of 25 to 30-year-olds in Congress as we do proportionally to the population, we would have over 40 people under the age of 30 in Congress. And I don't know if you've looked at Congress recently. We have one that is under the age of 30. That is not good for the future of the Democratic Party.
What's your reaction to that?
You know, if the Democrats spend as much time fighting for American families and American communities as they do fighting each other, fighting Donald Trump, you know, then maybe they wouldn't be at 25% in the polls. You know, the fact is the Republican Party is now the common sense party. We are the party that is fighting for every single family, every single community across the country, and that's why the Republicans are winning in these elections and why we are setting the course for the country right now to focus on delivering for the American people.
If this happened in your own party with a young, fresh GOP up-and-comer, what would you say?
Well, what I would say is focus on the American families. Focus on American communities. The fact is we need a stronger economy. We need stronger borders. We need a stronger country. And every single day, that's what we should be fighting on.
What's the strategy right now of the GOP moving forward as we, start thinking about midterms? Because there's plenty of lawmakers, including, we just talked about Illinois Senator Dick Durbin, who are not seeking re-election. So what is the strategy right now of the GOP moving forward?
Yeah, twofold, right? So the first is on mechanics. We are going to go into the 26 election cycle with a focus on getting out the vote and protecting the ballot. This is exactly the plan that we had in 2024 to complement and support President Trump, as well as our House and Senate Republicans. We're going to continue those efforts to build out our election integrity program and focus on turning out low propensity voters. You know, from a messaging standpoint, the American people have spoken very loudly and very clearly. They want a strong America. They want a president who's going to fight for the families and communities all across it. That's the messaging that we need to have. We need to continue to see wins from the White House, and we need to get the big, beautiful bill from Congress.
Speaking of which, why has this been such an uphill battle for the GOP? You know, Trump said he wanted to renew his 2017 tax cuts. Why haven't they gotten this done already?
They're going to get it done. There's a lot of process that's involved. There are a lot of conversations that have to take place, both within the House and the Senate. And of course, the Democrats are doing everything they can to obstruct that process every single day because they want to see the largest tax hike in American history. The Republicans, on the other hand, are getting their business done. They are going to pass this bill, and they're going to make sure that we are going to have the economic underpinnings for the growth of this country.
Chairman of the Republican National Committee, Michael Whatley, we appreciate your time with us this morning. Thanks for joining us here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.